Hi Mahanth, thank you for being part of Coffee and Conversation with THGC. I am Mauna, and today's episode is going to be more like a conversation and it's not an interview. Just to let you know about
that. Sounds good to me. I was told this was a conversation. So.
Yes, it's not like an interview. We're just gonna have a very casual conversation, getting to know you more deeper. I want to introduce you to my audience a little bit. Today we are sitting down with Mahanth Joishy. He is someone who has quietly spanned across many worlds. He grew up across countries, worked for years in public sector that most of us never think about, right? And recently he had a very long and a personal health journey that has reshaped how he looks into life now. So this is not anything about fancy reels or achievements, but mostly it is about experiences, the perspectives, and the small things that keep us grounded. Thank you so much for being part of this Coffee and Conversation.
Thank you for inviting me to do this, Mona. I'm very excited to do this.
I'm very thrilled and glad and pleasure to have you here. So let's just talk.
I feel the same way. I'm in India after 8 years. I've been here almost a month now and really enjoying it. And we're here in Bangalore, which is a city that has a lot going on. A lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of bad stuff going on, I would say too. We can talk more about that.
Yeah, but why do you say we start with bad?
Bad. Moving around this city is so difficult. Traffic is horrible. Crossing the street is an adventure for someone like me who's not used to the roads here, and I really dislike it. Mobility is a major problem, I would say. But I've also spent a lot of my career on mobility, so I see the problems like in a different way than most people probably would.
So Mahanth, where are you joining us from today? What does a pretty normal day look like for you these days?
All right, there's no such thing as a normal day. I'll get into that in a minute. I'm joining here in India from Madison, Wisconsin. So Madison is the capital of the state of Wisconsin, which for those who might not know, it's in the middle of the United States, what we call the Midwest. It's near the Great Lakes region, and in the winter times, it's very cold. So right now, it is very cold and there's snow and ice on the ground.
Okay.
And that can be fun for a while, but it gets old after a while. After some time, you feel like you want to get away. That's why a lot of folks go to places with beaches or warmer climates for vacation. In my case, I have been gone from Wisconsin since early December. I spent the month of December in California, and then I've spent the month of January here in India so far, and I'll be here for a few more days. So what does a normal day look like? Because I've been in California for a month and then India for a month, I've been doing a lot of new things. I'm coming to India after 8 years, as I mentioned. So this is the first time in my life that I've come to India after maybe 12 times I've been here visiting. That I am here for social visits, which means I'm visiting my relatives, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my nieces, nephews, friends in various places, as well as trying to do some business-related meetings. So we just came from the Israeli consulate in Bangalore. So we've traveled all over India. So I've been to Mangalore, Udupi, Karkala, Sringeri. I've been to Manipal, if I didn't mention that before, Mysore, Bangalore, Pune, Lonavala, Bombay, Coimbatore. Yeah, and now I'm back to Bangalore. So it's been a hectic month of January, but a lot of fun. And I will say this is the best India trip I've ever had.
In a month, it's like you've covered 10 cities now.
Yes.
So you've been constantly traveling, and you also have a flight in next 2 or 3 hours.
Yes, we're about to fly back to Mangalore. Awesome. To go back to Udupi for a couple more days, and then I'm off to the UAE for a week. After that.
So you grew up in a lot of different countries, right? When someone asks you, where are you from? So what usually that goes through in your mind? Usually
I'll decide to give the person who's asking the options. Do you want the short version or the long version?
Long version.
All right. The long version is I'm an Indian American, but I'm much more. I was born in Malaysia, and I was born in Kuala Lumpur. Parents were there for 2 years. My dad was a cancer researcher at the time and on a 2-year grant project where he was studying cancer patterns among the local tribal groups of Malaysia. They were there from 1978 to 1980. My sister was there as well, and I happened to be born there. And I know for a fact I wasn't planned for that period of time to be born in Malaysia, because that is difficult to determine someone's citizenship when they're born to Malaysia of non-Malaysian parents.
So father is from India, is it?
My father and mother are both from India, from Karnataka, from the Udupi region in Karnataka.
They were working there in Malaysia.
Yes, so my dad had a job in Malaysia, but they had been settled in the United States already.
Okay.
Right? And my dad was a US citizen at the time. My mom was an Indian citizen at the time. But you can't be Malaysian unless your mom and dad were Malaysian. You can't be a US citizen unless your dad's been a US citizen for at least 10 years at the time. And he was not. And my mother's citizenship didn't matter at all. If my dad had been Indian, I could have become an Indian citizen. Till 10 years later, when I was naturalized US citizen, I took the oath of US citizenship. And I was no longer an alien after 10 years.
How was it for you for 10 years to not have a citizenship?
See, when you're a kid, you don't understand how things work. But the main thing is, whenever I traveled, there was a document on my mother's passport, which was Indian, saying, this boy is traveling with his mother. He can travel as long as his mother's with him, and he's not a citizen of anywhere, basically. So it wasn't an Indian citizenship certificate. It was just saying he can travel. Because my parents had to leave in 1980 when the project was over, and I was a baby. So Malaysia, that was my birthplace. And then we lived in Indiana in the United States, another Midwestern state. We lived in Bloomington, Indiana, which is a beautiful place, Midwestern college town. It's where Indiana University is. And some folks might have heard of Indiana University football. They just won the national championship for the first time in their history. Great story. They turned around the worst college football program in United States history into the top program. In 1987, we moved to Saudi Arabia for 4 years.
How old were you then?
I was 7 years old. I was in third grade when we moved to Saudi Arabia. And the reason why Saudi Arabia was interesting was we lived in this place that women could not even leave their home by themselves, and women could not drive. And my mother and all her friends enjoyed it, enjoyed life there. You'd be surprised at what life was like back then, because Saudi Arabia has modernized recently. They started allowing women to drive. They started allowing women to have some more freedoms than they used to. Saudi Arabia back then didn't even have movie theaters. There were no public spaces where people could gather. They discouraged that. They weren't having sports events like they do now. Saudi Arabia Joint Air Base, where most of the attacks on Iraq in Desert Storm came from that air base. Most of the stealth bombers were based there. We could see those stealth bombers landing at the air base in the morning when we were going to school.
Oh my God.
We could literally see them landing right by us, which was super cool if you're a 12-year-old boy. War is the coolest thing in the world, right?
Did it not scare you?
No, it was cool. American jets, yes. And, I identified as American at the time. Anyway, until 1987, I was in Saudi Arabia. The other reason why Saudi Arabia was a very interesting experience was we spent a lot of time in India during that period, my family and I, because it's so close by. The Gulf and India are highly interchanged societies. A lot of Indians working in the Middle East, a lot of money flowing back from the Middle East into India and other South Asian countries through remittances. So that's when I really got to know this place we're in, India, was during that period where I spent a lot of time with my cousins and a lot of time with people who are still my friends. And that's when I really got to speak a lot of Konkani, which is my mother tongue. And the specific type of Konkani they speak in the Mangalore area. There's people speaking Konkani all down the coast, from Maharashtra to Goa to Kerala and Karnataka. But our particular kind of Konkani has very specific vocabulary and mannerisms and things. And I picked all of that up in that period of time between 1987 and 1991. So it was a beautiful time. Saudi Arabia, interesting place. India, felt a real connection to India and the cousins who are around my age, including Anoop Pai, who who introduced us. He and I used to play cricket in the field in front of my grandfather's house in Udupi, way back. That's all I remember about him from childhood, is that cricket field where all the neighborhood boys would gather and play after school, right? In 1991, we moved to England, the UK. I lived in a suburb of London, England. London's a place a lot of people have heard of. Another great city that's worth visiting folks haven't been to London. There's a lot of history there. I'm American. We don't have a lot of history. It's only a few hundred years old. England's a place that has history that goes back much further. And I call myself an Indian American, so India is my second favorite country. And then we moved back to the US. I lived for a while in Ohio. I lived for a while in Missouri. And then we went back to Ohio. I did high school in a place called Cleveland, Ohio. Have you heard of Cleveland?
Cleveland, yes.
Some people call it the mistake on the lake. A lot of Americans make fun of Cleveland. It's one of these old industrial towns in the Midwest that had seen better days in the past than the period I lived there in the 1990s and since. One of the things that Cleveland's famous for, unfortunately, is in 1967, the Cuyahoga River that runs through it, it caught fire when someone threw a cigarette into the river. It caught fire because it was so polluted. It was so disgustingly dirty with
industrial waste.
Yes, all kinds of waste that it caught fire famously, infamously. There's a good story here though. Cleveland got its act together and cleaned up the river. Now it's nice and clean. And it shows you that we might destroy certain aspects about the planet, but we can fix them.
So you have spent a long time working in public service, right? Cities, transport systems. Most people really don't notice this. So what kept you interested in that kind of work for so long?
So yeah, I got into Georgetown with that intention, knowing it was the best school in the country for this foreign policy matter that I'd been interested in. I've always been a social studies guy, like history, sociology, and foreign policy made a lot of sense. Having traveled around the world as a young person and continuing, I always realized people are really the same everywhere, and any artificial boundaries we create and religions that we create and cultural differences we create, like in the way we dress, the way we eat, the way we look, the political boundaries are all artificial, man-made. We're all really part of the same. We're all part of one thing, one planet, one humanity, one consciousness, I would say, one global, one universal consciousness. We're all really, you could say brothers, sisters, relatives, one big family. And international relations is about, at its best, trying to make sure everyone gets along. That there are systems in place to maintain peace and prosperity for everyone, and to promote trade and cultural exchange and other things. And for all of us to just have a good time, right? And that's why I'm in India right now, is to promote a lot of these ideals with my contacts here in India. And I hope anyone listening to this realizes the benefit of not separating ourselves into different groups and creating enemies out of each other.
So I want to touch base on this topic where you have written openly about your health journey. So on the days when things especially was very hard for you at that moment, right? What actually helped? Like, what was that journey for you?
Yes, so I grappled with a very, very rare, or also known as ultra rare disease called Sezary Syndrome. And Sezary Syndrome is a type of lymphoma that also affects the blood, so with leukemic properties. And most painfully, or the most challenging part is it affects the skin. My entire body, the skin was damaged for a long time, say, and terrible itching and discomfort for long periods of time. So much so, for so long, for so many years, that I forgot what it was like to not be itching all the time somewhere. And that's really a terrible type of torture that I went through. It wasn't just me going through it. It was really like my whole family was going through this with me, both emotionally as well as far as being caregivers. They were physically with me to help take care of me during this whole process. It culminated in a very, very intensive treatment known as a bone marrow stem cell transplant, where you take the stem cells from another person. And there was a young lady in the Boston area who agreed to donate cells. for me, and those were inserted in through a tube into my veins. They travel through your bloodstreams for a few weeks through your bloodstream, and then they find the bone to settle in, the bones to settle in the bone marrow, create new bone marrow, and then create a whole new immune system for your body to attack the lymphoma cells, and then hopefully keep you in remission for a long time. So currently it's been over a year since that procedure. It was very difficult. But
when did you first discover?
So I wasn't diagnosed until March of 2023.
Okay.
St. Patrick's Day, March 17th.
Okay.
And I probably had the condition for some years before, but it was undiagnosed. That's the theory. It's something difficult.
The symptom was itchiness.
Yes, the symptoms looked a lot like eczema. And eczema is a much more common autoimmune disease. It's something that a lot of people have around the world. And so it's typically Sezary patients are treated like eczema patients, even though it wasn't necessarily eczema that was what afflicted us, right? And so I might have had Sezary syndrome for a long time before diagnosis. We're not sure. We're not even sure if I had eczema or not. I might not have had eczema at all, but that's debatable.
What is eczema?
Eczema is a very common skin condition that many people have, where it's itchy, scaly, flaky, red skin. And it can appear on the face, on the arms and legs.
Is it just randomly it appears, or is it continuous?
No, it can flare up, meaning it'll get worse.
So someday you have it and after a few days it comes back, or?
No, these are good questions. So eczema is something that's kind of always there for most people that have eczema. And you use topical steroids, ointments and creams and other things, different kinds of body washes and moisturizers, and you hope that it's under control. So it's always there, typically for the ongoing chronic patients of eczema, also known as atopic dermatitis. It can last for decades, years, decades. It's rare that it'll completely go away, but you can get good control on it through these kinds of treatments.
Okay.
But if it's Sezary syndrome, it's obviously a much more serious problem, a more deadly problem. Eczema is not typically deadly. This type of lymphoma is very deadly, and it actually is not survivable for many people. In a way, whether it's fortune or misfortune, whatever you want to call it, I got it at a younger age. I was diagnosed at age 43, so I could treat it quite aggressively and with good hopes of recovering from it. But we had to accept at the time it is potentially fatal, the procedure that I underwent. But we also knew if I didn't do that procedure, then it would definitely be fatal eventually. There's other treatments that'll keep you alive for a while, but it's only a matter of time before your luck basically runs out. Because my family was going through it just like I was, I wanted my parents, especially who are elderly, to see me getting better. And if I delayed the procedure by a few years, I knew that my body would not get any better over the next few years. The odds were at I think a good place to be in my mid-40s and do the procedure, and that my parents would have a chance to see me get better. And my dad, who's a retired hematologist oncologist himself, who is helping me with my treatment and helping me oversee it and helping me make these difficult decisions. I also wanted him to be able to help me, right? So I wanted to do it as quickly as I could. As far as the bad days and what helped me get through those, for both selfish and selfless reasons, I like to write about my experience. And I debated whether to go public with these thoughts, and some months into this ordeal, I decided I like writing. I like for people to read my writing. Some people like my writing. So I was like, I'm just going to put it out there. It's deeply personal, the decision to do that or not. I respect people who don't like sharing anything about what they're going through. I guess that's not who I am. And I think that really helped me. writing things down primarily for myself really helped me. And then the knowledge that I was helping other people and a number of people telling me that it helped them. One couple got back to me, said, we have a young child who's going through a difficult health situation, and reading your stuff really helped us, right? And then there was a Sezary Syndrome patient in New Zealand, and his wife reached out to me and said, we really liked what you wrote, and it's really helping us. As it turned out, Leah was her name. She's on the board of my foundation now after we stayed in touch and became closer. That's a connection that I'm really proud of, and both through different mediums. One of them is video, which we're doing right now. Audio and video are great ways for humans to connect. But for me, writing is a cathartic experience, a therapeutic experience. And by definition, it's a solitary activity. Writing isn't a group activity typically. It's something you need to be alone on. And the best writing I would do is in my home by myself, with no other activities planned. And writing what I was going through helped me process what I was going through. So both selfish and selfless.
What feels different about how you think about the time and energy compared to before?
That's a great question. Everything's changed as far as life before Sezary Syndrome happened and life after Sezary Syndrome happened. First of all, I feel highly blessed every minute that I'm alive and every breath that we take. You realize how precious it is and how short life is, not just for me, but for all of us, right? For you and everyone else. Life is short, and we need to question ourselves. Are we living it to the fullest? And I think most of us aren't, honestly. And I don't think I was before. And what does that mean? That means in any given moment, doing what we can towards the goals we have that are within our control, right? So we can't control what's going on in the world writ large, right? I can't control what's going on in US politics right now, especially when I'm in India. So I am not following it whatsoever. I don't know what's happened. I know there's a bunch of headlines, and my friends are on WhatsApp groups talking about these things, and I'm just ignoring it. It doesn't exist in my world, right? And I took that choice for my own mental health based on the problems with my physical health, based on knowing I couldn't deal with them if I wanted to get better and survive the ordeal. And I look at everything very differently in terms of what is my slice of this universe that I might have a little bit of control over. So it's what I'm doing right now. It's what's in front of me. It's in this moment. It's this podcast that we're doing, right? That's in my control. And I'm not going to worry about everything else that's not in my control. That's a different way of living than the way I lived before.
So you have started your Sezary Syndrome Society.
That's correct.
Pronouncing it correctly.
You are, yeah.
So you went on to start the Sezary Syndrome Society. So did that come more from the sense of purpose, or simply that you do not want others to feel like they are alone, like, the educational purpose, right?
So yeah, to answer that question, let me dig into a little more detail on the setup I had at the time of my diagnosis and through the various treatments that I received, which included chemotherapy and radiation therapy, the transplant itself, post-transplant procedures, a large number of medications I'm on, and things like that. Throughout that process, I had deep support from family. I mentioned my father, who was a physician with a lot of expertise that was very useful. My mother, Mahanth Joishy, my sister, Mahima Joishy, were part of my caregiving team, and they made a lot of efforts and sacrifices to help take care of me during that period of time. I had financial resources to withstand all the costs that came out of these procedures. I had excellent healthcare insurance, which is very important in the United States. You need health insurance to get the level of care that I received, which was truly top level. I want to shout out my doctor, Jonathan Morera, who conducted the transplant, and his team at Northwestern University in Chicago. Northwestern University in Chicago is one of the top centers where I could have gotten this procedure done. And I was fortunate to have access to it through my insurance program. I also had something called disability insurance. So I wasn't working for many months while I was doing these procedures. And even when I was working, I missed a lot of work days. On days that I went in for chemotherapy or photophoresis, another type of treatment, I had to miss a lot of work time. And so I had sick leave, I had other types of leave like vacation that I used up thanks to my government job and the benefits of the government job. After that runs out, I had something called disability insurance, which paid some of my salary for the period of time that I wasn't working, and when I had run out of my leave balances. So I had great health insurance. I had a workplace where they were very understanding of all the time off I needed, and they were very supportive of me. I had my family network, the caregiving I mentioned, and then a large group of friends that were checking in on me and who really cared about me. I had a lot of relatives who said they were praying for me. They were doing pujas. For those who are Indian, you probably know what a puja is. There were pujas going on at various temples around South India that my family's conducting on my behalf. And I believe there's a lot of power in that. Whatever your religious beliefs may or may not be, I believe those that were well-wishers for my recovery were making efforts to make it possible. And I believe that made a difference in my getting better. So long story short, I had a ton of support, like a huge network of support in different countries even. And then I had the scientific medical support. I had the support from the benefits of my employment. My employer themselves were very supportive. My team at work was taking over. In particular, one of my teammates, her name is Rachel Darkin. She took over and was the acting head of my department when I was out for that extended period of time, and she did a great job. So I wasn't much worried about that either, what was going on in the workplace in my department. So everything lined up for me. Everything was in my corner for me to get better. And I knew this whole time that this is not the circumstances that everyone in this world has when they are facing a deadly situation like I was, or a serious situation.
How rare is this?
It's so rare we don't know how many cases there might be in the world. We don't have exact numbers. One of the estimates I've seen is 50,000 people in the world might have it. Even if it's some multiple of that, it's very few. So there's something beneficial about that for someone who wants to make a difference in this area. And then there's something that makes it more challenging. So with ultra rare diseases, you have a real chance to eliminate it because it's so rare. But on the other hand, because it's so rare, there's so little known about it that it makes it harder to eliminate and study and research and to find willing participants and to get good epidemiology around it, the basic demographics of disease. What is the average height and weight and age and gender and location and occupation of the person, right? So I can answer those questions for me. I know I was diagnosed at 43. Did I have eczema before? Yes. I think you're going to see a lot of cases where people might have had eczema, which may or may not have been eczema. It might have been Sezary Syndrome, right? So yeah, I'm just giving you a scratching the surface view of all of the data we can collect.
Right.
So the good news is, if it's, let's say, 50,000 people, can my team go out and find all of them and join with all of them to collect the data that we're talking about, the medical records, the blood test records, the epidemiology, right? Are they concentrated in certain countries, right? And Anup Pai, who's here in Bangalore and is on the foundation of the Sezary Syndrome Society, will hopefully be helping me with these India activities for India, since he's the India director for our board. And it's possible we can also do medical research here in India at a lower cost potentially than in the United States, as long as the standards are high for that type of research.
I do acknowledge that you have gone through a lot, and just happy that you are here and you're helping a lot of people and through your foundation. And any support from my and my company, and I'm always there in India. I think we have met at the right time.
Yeah.
So you just starting few more projects in India, and I'm moving back to India back to Bangalore from the mountains.
That's great.
So it's a thing the universe allows us to meet on the right time.
I strongly believe that. Yeah.
So let's go outside of work and advocacy that you have been doing. What is something simple or ordinary that brings you more joy and calm these days?
Well, obviously, I like traveling and meeting new people. I like going to new places that I haven't been to before. So on this particular trip, I went to Pune and Lonavala, which I had never seen before. It was for work reasons, but I was so happy to just see a couple of new places with some interesting landscapes and things like that. An interesting drive between the cities.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
It is.
Lonavala is very beautiful.
Lonavala is really cool. And my best friend, one of my best friends who lives in Bombay, randomly happened to be in Lonavala the same night that Anup and I planned to be there. So we got together in Lonavala.
Universe planning.
Yes, I truly believe that. That was so random. What are the odds? Like, it's a place I'd never heard of before. I went to Pune, literally, and Anup said, let's stay one night in Lonavala, see it. Okay, sure. I want to see a new place. Then my friend Utkarsh, it turns out, texts me and says, I'll be in Lonavala for the weekend. I'll see you in Bombay after that. And then I said, actually, let's just meet up in Lonavala. Right? And then I went to his house in Bombay after that as well. But I do think the universe on this trip has put together a bunch of circumstances that have made this the best India trip I've ever had. I've come here many times before, as I mentioned. It had been 8 years for many reasons, one of them being because of what I went through recently, and because it's been so long, and because this is the first time I'm doing actual work related to my work, and as an entrepreneur for the first time. That's made this the best. So what do I
What do you like
doing? So as I mentioned before, I like writing. And this is on a different note. I like writing fiction, and I'm trying to get a novel published. That is, I think it's good. It takes place in the early 2030s. It's a techno thriller. It's about cyber warfare, AI warfare. It's about the villain is a drone that is a submarine, can transform into a jet and back into a submarine at will on its own. Right? So it's a fighter jet and it's a fighter submarine. It can come out of the water, come to the surface, and turn into a jet and then start flying. So if you're trying to engage it, you have to be ready to engage it both in the air and the sea, and that's very difficult. And who is tasked with trying to stop this thing is this Indian American who works for an agency that's a fictional agency called the US Cyber Force. And he has to collaborate with his Indian counterparts for the Indian Cyber Army.
You've written already?
I've written a draft manuscript. Yeah, it's complete. It's been complete for a while. Initially, I've been working on getting it published in the United States. But since this India trip, I'm thinking, why not publish it here? And maybe a lot of people will read it. Hopefully a lot of people read it in both countries anyway.
I'm sure across the globe, everyone will read it now.
Everyone?
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
One last message to the audience from the overall things that we have covered, and like about you personally, and like just a message to my audience.
Yes. First of all, thank you all if you're listening. I really appreciate it. I've never done one of these in India before, so I'm really appreciating the opportunity, and I hope people connect. And It's easy to connect with me. My name is Mahanth, Mahanth. Last name is Joishy, Joishy. My email is mahanth@gmail.com. Easy to reach me. I'm also on LinkedIn. If anyone looks me up there, it'll be easy to find me. My websites are mahanth.org, Sezary.org, which is spelled Sezary.org. I look forward to connecting with folks on the Indian side.
Thank you so much for being part of the Hustle Grow course Coffee and Conversation series. I am super thrilled and so excited and so happy that you have been part of this within a short notice, that you agreed to do this, and thank you so much for this. I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you. You made my first podcast in India possible, Mona. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahanth.